welcome to this geometry review. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're watching it for one of two reasons. One of which is if you did not do well on a test and you need to retake the test, you're going to be watching this video to hopefully prepare yourself for the test and to use it as a review. Or maybe you're getting ready for the test and you want to use this video to get you prepared to take the test in the first place. Now, for learning target number 3, it's students can recognize, describe, and demonstrate the properties of translation symmetry. So we've been talking in class about all these different types of symmetries. Now you might be saying, well, I don't remember dilations. Well, we didn't spend a ton of time on it, so I'm not actually going to test you on it, but we have talked about it a few times, and a dilation is a change in shape or a change in size. But this is the biggie right here. Translation symmetry is what I'm testing you on. And one of the things I want you to be able to do is distinguish between a translation, a rotation, and a reflection. Now, how do you tell the difference between them? Well, first of all, a lot of times if you remember in class, I really emphasize this letter right here. A lot of times I won't call it a translation, I'll call it a translation. A translation, because I want you to think of that S. And when you think of that S, I want you to think of a slide. So if you think of translation, think of slide. Now, one of the things you're going to have to be able to do is distinguish what's a slide versus a rotation. A slide simply slides an object to a new location. It doesn't always have to be straight across or straight down. It could be diagonally. It could happen that way as well. Now, when you see here a rotation, here is your point of rotation. And so rotation, this was rotated around here. So if I was to take a line and I was to draw a line from here to here, I was a little off there. And if I was to draw a line from here, I was off there too. But you get what I mean. If I drew a straight line, if I had a ruler and I drew a straight line from all those spots, all the angles should be the same because it rotated about this point. So a rotation, you notice how the image doesn't look exactly like the original. It's not the same, this isn't pointed in the same spot. Let me take off some of those lines so it's easier to see. So did you notice that this right here, is pointed this way and this tip is pointed this way? That's a pretty good idea that it's a rotation. That'll kind of give it away. If it's the same shape, so the shapes are congruent, but they're pointed in different directions, and they're not even close to being in the same direction, it's probably a rotation. Now you might be thinking, well, here, let's look at this. Reflection. They're pointed in opposite directions. Yeah, they are, but I think reflections are pretty easy to recognize because there's always going to be this axis or this line of symmetry between the two. So when I look at this, if I was to look at, or it could be called a mirror line. I've heard people call it a mirror line as well. So if I covered up half of it, and we looked at one half, and then I covered up the other half, and we looked at the other side, they would look like they're mirror images of each other. So that's a pretty good idea that is a reflection. So on a test, what you're going to have to be able to do is you're going to have to be able to figure out which of the object is a translation, and you're going to have to tell me why. And you're also going to have to explain why the other ones aren't. And the easiest way to do it is just say, well, this one's not because it's a rotation, and this one's not because it's a reflection. Now, one of the other things you have to be able to do on this test is you have to be able to look at figures like this and their image, and they'll be on a graph. You're going to have to be able to explain the rule. These are all going to be slides or translations, and you're going to have to be able to figure out. And now we're going to do a couple, and you're going to help come up with the rule with me. Now, first of all, you need to know a couple things. First of all, this is labeled. Here's your x-axis, and right here is your y-axis. So let me grab a different pen color. Let me go with red. Ooh, let's go with purple. So here's the original right here. And you can tell this is the image because it has this right up here. So it's, a lot of times I'll call it C1, here's B1, here's H1. So C moved from here to here. And did you notice, because they're congruent, they all have the same rule. They all moved the same way. They all moved one spot this way. Now, this is X. So how I would write that rule it would be x plus 1. Now, I don't want to do that. Here, let me erase that quick. So it'd be x plus 1. I wanted to put a comma here. And now, did the y go anywhere? Did the y move up or down? Because here's y. So if I'm going up or down, which way is it moving? It's not moving anywhere. So it would just be x plus 1 and y. Now, why x plus 1? Well, anytime I go this way, x is increasing. Anytime I go this way, x is decreasing. Anytime I go up, y is increasing. If I go down, y is decreasing. And how do I know that? Well, this is y1, y2, y3. This is x1, x2, x3. So if I'm going this way, and I go from 1 to 2, well, I added 1. And the opposite is also true. This would be a -1, -2. So if I'm going in the opposite direction, I have to be subtracting. So let's do another one together. So let's take a look at this one. And let's start it out. So let's write the rule together. Okay, I'm just going to start it out. And I'm going to have x, I'm going to put a comma here, and I'm going to have y, and let me put this here. So here's the original, right here. And we end up going here. So the first thing you have to do is know which way it's moving. So I'm going this way, and I'm going this far. So just count with me. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because I'm going in this direction, I have to be adding to the x. So it'd be x plus 4. Now, from here, how do I get f? I've got to go down in that direction, and count with me. I'm going 1. Now notice that I am going down. So that's a negative. So it'd be y minus 1. So how might that look if I had original coordinates? So let's look at the original coordinates for f. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be x5, right? So let's look at how these coordinates would look. So what is my x? So if I look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be a -5. And what is my y coordinate for f? It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be 4. So here is what f is. And so when I look at this, what is my rule? It's x plus 4. So what's a -5 plus 4? If you're saying, okay, it's a -1. And my other rule for y is y minus 1. So it was 4. What's 4 minus 1? 3. So if I use that rule, I should be going from here to here. And so let's look at, let me erase this right here. Let me get my pens back out. So what should this be? If I did this correctly, this should be my new f1. So when I look at the x, it is going to be x -1, because this is my -1, and this is 1, 2, 3. So my new f is at -1, 3, which does match up. So do you have any questions with this? And as always, obviously you can't ask me any questions because it's a video. But come into class tomorrow. Come in during lunch. Come in before school. Come in after school. Ask questions. You know, I often say you don't have a right to stay confused, and you shouldn't stay confused. If you have questions, ask. So we spent a little time reviewing the rules. Now what are we going to do? This is the big thing that you're going to have to be able to do on a test. On the test, you're going to get graphs that may look like this. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look at some rules, and we're going to go through a couple practice ones together. So here's 4 rules that I have. And what I want you to do is I want you to match these up. Figure out which one's which. In other words, I have 4 rules. I have 2 graphs. So 2 of them are bogus ones, 2 of them are correct, but you don't know which ones are which. So let's go through these. X plus 2. So let me see here. Here's A. Now, if I want to do x plus 2, I'd have to go 2 spots to the right. So I know this is not going to be x2 because it only goes 1 spot. So when I look at this right here, let me draw that again. So when I go from here to here, or when I go the other way from here to here, I know my x only goes up 1. So automatically I can say, okay, this one does not match up with this one. How about this one over here? I go 1, 2 over. Oh, this could be a match, x plus 2. So this one could match up with this one, but I also know that x2 is right here. So I still don't know which one of these. So it's probably going to be one of these that matches up with this graph. So let's take a look here. Y plus 1. What is a plus 1? Remember, plus 1 goes up 1. So if I'm a y plus 1, I'm looking for an image that goes up 1. Well, here, let me erase this. Let's take a look at this right here. When I go from here to here, I'm going down. So I know this is not an option because y plus 1, it's not going up. And then let's look at here. It's also going down. So I know this has got to be my answer for this one right here. Why is it my answer for this one? Well, let's look at it. Let's look at the rules. The rules x plus 2. So I have to go 2 spots to the right. And this goes 2 spots to the right. And my other rule for y is y minus 1. So I have to go 1 spot down. And this goes 1 spot down. So I know it matches up. Okay. Now, I'm getting closer. I know now that this one or this one of those twos, and let's pick a different color. Let's go with red. So I know either this one or this one must match up with this one. Now, we're going to figure it out right off the bat. If I go this way, I've got to go 1 to the right in order to get this to match up. So if I go 1 to the right, is that x plus 1 or x minus 1? If you said x plus 1, you're correct. So right away, I know this can't be the answer because it's x minus 1, which means it would have to go the other way. And it doesn't go that way. Now, let me figure out the rest of it. It's y minus 3. So I'd have to go 3 down. And when I look at it here, 1, 2, 3, yep, it goes down. So this is my match for this. So on a test, you're going to have to be able to do this. You're going to have to be able to look at it. And I would just take it one step at a time. Look at the rules and see which ones apply, and then match them up. As always, this is the end of our review. So as always, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, come see me. I'm willing to help you out if you need help. You can come in before school, you can come in during lunch, you can come in after school, and on most days we have work time. So just bring up the sheet. I will sit down with you, I will work with you, and together, if we work hard, we can do this. Bye.